guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's episode is all about the new Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear Concealer. And this is relatively new. I got this probably about a month ago, and I'm finally being able to put it to the test. So I'm going to be doing a full day wear test. I'll show you how I apply it. I'll do a check-in, and then I will give you my final thoughts at the end of the day. So if you're interested in any of that, then just keep on watching. So Laura Mercier came out with this Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear Concealer as a follow-up to her Flawless Fusion Foundation, which I reviewed when it came out last year. I want to say last fall. Anyway, I'll link to the video up top. And I really liked that foundation. It gives a really nice natural to kind of matte finish. Unfortunately, I happen to like a dewier, more radiant finish, so I don't reach for that foundation as much as I would like to. If I'm looking for a matte finish, that's the foundation I would reach for. So since I liked that foundation so much, when this concealer came out, I was like, let me give this a shot. I bet I would like this concealer. So I purchased this off of Bergdorf. It is, I think I purchased this off of Bergdorf, either Bergdorf or Neiman Marcus. I got it in the shade 2N. There are, I believe, 12 shades, and this was 28 bucks, 7 milliliters, 0.23 fluid ounces. So those are the stats on this concealer. I'm just going to summarize its claims. It's supposed to be long wearing, weightless, 12 hours of medium to full coverage, crease transfer and water resistant, and it's supposed to blur imperfections. So if you'd like to check out my demo, my check-in, and my final thoughts, then just keep on. Alright, so I have foundation on my face and nothing else at this point. I didn't even put primer down because anyway, I just didn't want to interfere with the concealer at all. So we've got the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear Concealer. I have it in the color 2N. I am going to, here's what the package looks like. I'm going to apply it as I normally would, right underneath my right eye here, and a little bit on top, because again, that's what I normally do. And I'm going to blend in with my finger. I want to say I use my finger probably like 50% of the time, so I'm going to go ahead and use my finger just to see how that works. The color of this concealer seems a little bit peachy, so I think there's a little bit of a corrective quality to this concealer. And I got 2N, N for neutral, and it's still a little bit peachy, so just keep that in mind if you are curious about which shade you should get. So there is the concealer on my right eye. I think it looks pretty nice. It is very creamy in texture. I feel like the coverage and the consistency of the concealer is thicker than both the Chanel Longwear Concealer and the By Terry Concealer, the two that I probably use the most. Coverage is probably, it's definitely higher coverage than, I'm just gonna add a little bit more, higher coverage than the By Terry, but I don't know, I feel like the coverage is different, again, because of this peachy tone. It's doing a little bit of color correcting. The Chanel doesn't do that. The Chanel is just more of a typical skin color, but if I had to choose one concealer to have a higher coverage, I think this one does. I think this one has a bit of a higher coverage than the Chanel. It also feels like it would have a higher coverage. It is definitely a thicker consistency than the Chanel. So there is on and without. I think it did a pretty good job. So let me go ahead and do the same over here. And I'm going to use, I would say, the other 50% of the time I use this Armani blender brush to blend in my concealer. So I'm going to use this and see if the application is much different. There is the application with the brush. Let me take a closer look. Both sides seem similar, so I don't think that either the brush or the finger has much of an advantage over the other. In terms of the actual concealer, I like the color, I like the coverage. I think it's a good match, and I think the coverage is very decent. It's definitely like a medium to high coverage concealer. I don't think it has much of a like nourishing feeling. Like the By Terry definitely has the most nourishing feeling in terms of concealer that I've come across. But it feels fine. It feels creamy, and it doesn't feel very heavy, which is nice. And yeah, I think it blended in really, really nicely. So let's go ahead and apply some powder on top. I have been, really enjoying the Viseart Seamless Setting Powder, so I'm going to go ahead and use this. I am going to use a powder puff, which is what I have generally been using. I just like to dip it in and kind of press that onto the under eye area. Press and roll. So there it is with the powder. There it is without. All right, so there it is with the powder applied. So far, I think it looks really great. It's only been about 5 minutes, so why don't I put on the rest of my makeup? I will come back at that point, kind of just give you a quick update as to where I am and what I'm thinking, and then what I'll do is a final check-in at the end of the day. It is pretty early in the morning, so I'll probably check in right before dinner and give you about a 10-hour kind of wear test. So hang on, and I'll be right back. Hello, I am back. It's actually been a couple of hours because I kept getting distracted and I started playing with all this new makeup. I'm actually playing around with the Viseart Petite Pro 2 palette. That's what I have on my eyes today. And also the new NARS cheek palettes. Not the 6-pan, but the 3-pan, these guys. So that's what I've been playing around with, and I'll have video reviews up of those products soon. But getting back to the concealer. So, so far, so good. I'm not seeing any kind of like weird creasing. I'm not seeing any kind of, separating. I'm not seeing it sink into my lines any more than usual. My lines are there. So, so you're going to see them, but I don't feel like they're emphasizing my lines or doing anything kind of out of the ordinary. So I'm actually going to be out having lunch and running some errands today. So if I can remember to kind of do a check-in while I'm outside in natural light, I will do so. And then, yeah, and then I'll be back at the end of the day. So I will see you soon. Hey guys, I am sitting in my car and I thought I would try and do a little check-in, and I was just taking a peek in the mirror and I felt like I have like some more major lines under my eyes, like right here. You can probably see them. I feel like those are a little bit more emphasized at the moment. I feel like the concealer really kind of like sunk into those lines. But other than that, I feel like the concealer looks really good. It hasn't like broken up or anything or done anything weird. My skin doesn't necessarily look any drier than it did this morning. And yeah, so I would say that that's it, that I feel like my lines are a little bit more emphasized. But other than that, I think it looks pretty good. So here's a close-up of what is going on there. My eyes have been watering a lot, so I've actually been kind of like rubbing this part of my eye quite a bit, and I think it's really stood up pretty well to that. So I will check in at the end of the day. Hey guys, I am back for my final check-in. It is about 4:30 p.m. It is a little bit early. I put this on at 7 a.m. this morning, so it has been just short of 10 hours. So it's been 9.5 hours. I think that's a pretty good wear test. And I like this concealer. I think that it has stayed put. I don't think that it has like kind of like dried up or caked up or cracked at all or sunk into my fine lines any more than they did when I checked in my car, when I did my car check-in. So I think it looks really great. I'm gonna zoom you guys in now so that you can take a closer look at my eyes. So here is a close look. There's like one line here that it kind of sunk into. It's a fairly prominent line, so I'm not really surprised. I really was not expecting for it to like camouflage that one or like kind of levitate over that particular line, but I don't feel like it has emphasized it. So I think it's actually really great. I'm actually very, very impressed with this concealer. I do also like the slight color correction that it gives because the tone of the concealer is peachy, and all the concealers that I generally just go for are kind of more neutral in tone, and those work out fine for me too. But this is kind of a nice change because I think it does kind of give a nice brightening effect under my eyes. So all in all, I have to say that I would recommend this concealer. I think it gives nice coverage. I think it lasts at least 9.5 hours. I don't think it emphasizes lines. I think it wears really, really well. The only thing that I feel like the Chanel and the By Terry and other concealers that I really enjoy is that they feel better. The By Terry feels nourishing. It definitely is more of a serum concealer, so it has very light coverage, but it really feels nice under the eyes. I really feel like I'm not sort of like taking away any moisture from my under eye area when I use it. The Chanel has such a smooth kind of gel consistency. I don't feel it's as nourishing as By Terry, but it feels really, really nice. This, I mean, it's not like I can feel it like a little bit. It doesn't feel bad, but I can feel it, if that, if that makes sense at all. Like, I can definitely feel that I'm wearing concealer. So I would say that's the only downside. And if that doesn't bother you, or if you're like, girl, you're crazy, I don't even know what you're talking about, then I would definitely recommend this concealer for you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Please let me know down below in the comment section if you have any questions about this concealer, and subscribe before you leave. I would love that, and I'll see you in my next video.